Evelyn to Philip, November 6, 1944. Dearest Phil, I got into work an hour earlier today as tomorrow is election day, and since I have no one to leave with Adele, my mother works at the polls until Ruth comes home from school, I thought I'd make up for the time that will be lost. I called home to find out if there was any mail for me and was told that there is a letter from you. Gee, I can hardly wait till I get home to read it. Immediately after I mailed your letter last night, Mom walked in with the announcement that it was a girl for Etta. Can you beat that? Not one strawman has had a boy yet. Al says he's going to change his name and perhaps they too will have a girl. I'll probably see Etta sometime this week at the hospital and I'll give you more details. I intend to gift the newcomer with $5. Know something sweet? I feel lots better for that long letter I wrote yesterday. I feel as if I can contend with anything now, for the weight in my chest has lifted somewhat. I also wrote to Gloria last night as I had to forward her check. I'm dropping her a card tonight to tell her about the happy event. They tell me Nat was disappointed for he wanted a boy very much. I guess you know, honey, that I'm voting for the first time in my life for president. No need to tell you who gets my vote. You know. I intend to vote the straight Democratic ticket. Today, for the first time in months, I'm wearing that girdle I ordered shortly after Adele's birth. It helps my posture a great deal, but I just can't seem to get comfortable in it. Today, too, the weather is freezing and it helps to keep me warm, if anything. Tomorrow is my dad's birthday, and I've already arranged to buy him a good felt hat to go with his new top coat. Since I'm flat till I get paid this weekend, he'll have to wait until then. Page 2. I went to bed very early last night and had a good night's rest. Adele woke rather early and I found her wet, so I took off her wet sleeper bottoms and took her into bed with me, and we slept together for the next 2 hours. I shall finish this at home, as I'm anxious to see what the contents of your letter are. It's just a little after 5, baby, and I'm keeping our date. If you reach out, you could touch me. That's how close I feel. See you later, sweet. I found your very short letter of the 18th of October waiting. Nothing in it inspires any comment on my part. I'm sure you've received the package containing the bottles and nipples by this time. You know, sweet, I've made it a point never to ask Mom to take care of Adele. I simply tell her that I have to be somewhere, and if she doesn't offer to take the kid off my hands, I make other arrangements. Tomorrow, for instance, she would merely have to give Adele lunch and put her to bed. Ruth would be here by the time Adele got up. As it is, I'm staying home from work long enough to put Adele up to bed as well as give her lunch. Mom must have sensed that I was mad, for this evening she said to me, I guess I'll have to take care of Adele from the time you leave till Ruth gets here. I told her there was nothing to do, for in all probability Adele will be sleeping till Ruth arrives. My mother has promised to stop in to see that everything is all right while she is sleeping. My mother is going to be a watcher tomorrow. Etta's baby weighed 6 pounds, 14.5 ounces, or 1/2 ounce more than Adele did. Considering how enormous Etta was, I'm sort of surprised. I also managed to write to Jack and Gloria at work, and now I must write an email to Milt as I had one from him today. That's what I call keeping up with my correspondence. I ate supper with Mom, Goldie waits for Harry to come home now, and while she is washing the few dishes, I am typing this to you. I'm going to run along now, for I must bring Adele home, bathe her, play with her, and get her to bed. Adele is still just as pretty as a picture, but I'm having a hard time keeping her hair neat. It's at a stage where it's just a little too long and a little too short to do anything with it. I parted on the left side and pinned the fuller side back with a barrette. She calls it a biette. Sure do hate to go, baby, but you know how it is. I'm loving you more with each passing day and missing you more than ever. Sometimes I think I'll just die if I don't get to see you soon. Phil, darling. Your Ev. V. Philip to Evelyn, 6 November 1944. My darling, went to the movies last night to see That Night in Rio and came away very pleased with it. It had everything. The production and settings were no less than beautiful. Carmen Miranda was at her best both musically and as a comedienne. The music was wonderful. Don Amici gave his best performance to date. Alice Faye was radiantly lovely, and the plot was delightfully daring and risque. What more could one want of a picture? I have no idea how old this one is, but if you get a chance to see it, don't pass it up, Chippy. You'll love it. Today's mail brought your V-mails of 27th and 28th October. You talked about trying to see FDR on the occasion of his appearance in Philly. I gathered from this that he is the man you intend to vote for tomorrow. I mailed my ballot about a week ago. You know, of course, who got my vote. I'm pleased, Chippy, that you concur with my choice. You go on to talk about your visit to Dr. Lefko, and I'm very glad to know that the pumpkin's fault, as you call it, is nothing to be concerned about. That is the best news I've had for months. It takes a great load off my mind, you may be sure. Thanks for Eddie Strongen's address, honey. Wales is too far from here to make the trip advisable on a 48-hour pass, but if one of us gets a furlough, maybe we'll get together. Page 2. Now, about your brother Eddie. From the tone of your remarks, sweet, I gather that you are disappointed in me because I haven't seen him again or tried to find out more about him. I thought I made it pretty plain, honey, that I'm not one bit concerned about Eddie's condition. And I tried to make you understand that you should rely on my word in the matter. He is perfectly okay, of that I am sure. But to further reassure you, I am planning to see him about the 14th of this month. At the same time, I may try to see Harry W. I think I know where he is, but it is pretty far from here. I may take a furlough if I can get hold of enough money, in which case I'll try to see both Eddies and Limey. Please don't think unkindly of me, Ev, because I don't seem to be sufficiently interested in Eddie. The fact is, if you only knew it, that there are factors involved that you don't appreciate and which I can explain here. Just trust me to do my best in the matter. If it doesn't strike you as being good enough, you may take it for granted that I could not do otherwise. I must apologize too, honey, for failing to write for those 5 days you mentioned. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was that prevented me, but I do know that it is inexcusable, nor do I expect to be forgiven for it. I can only say that I am very sorry and that it certainly won't happen again. You have my word. Page 3 for it, darling. The biggest news in your V-mail of the 28th was that Mom has dropped 20 pounds by dieting. I can hardly believe it. Somehow, I just can't picture her wearing one of Mrs. Fromer's coats. You simply must make her take a picture. I gotta see her new streamlined figure for myself. The rest of your letter is small talk and calls for no comment, except your closing sentence. I loved it, Chippy, because it was as cute and clever as anything you ever said or wrote. Next time you get fresh out of space, I hope you have as happy an inspiration as this one. Lady, I could just eat you up for something like that. So have a care. And now, because Stahl and I are going to work on the payroll tonight, and because we don't expect to finish much before midnight, and because I'm just about writ out anyhow, I'll say au revoir, my dearest. My dearest love to Miss Adele Barra. As for you, well, I just adore you. Or did you suspect that? My love to all. Devotedly, your Phil.